Just waiting for Brock to give me the nod that we're good to go. We're good. Okay, it's a few minutes past 5, so we'd like to call this regular scheduled meeting of Santa Clara City Council to order. I'd like to welcome everyone who's here tonight. We appreciate being here tonight. I'm Mayor Rick Rosenberg. We have a full council present tonight. Councilman Ben Shakespeare, Councilwoman Lena Mathis, Councilwoman Krista Hinton, Councilman Denny Drake, and Councilman Jarrett Wade are all here. We appreciate that. We'd like to begin the meeting with an opening ceremony, Pledge of Allegiance. We've asked Councilman Shakespeare to lead us in that. And then the opening comments and prayer will be offered by Mike Cruz with the Unitarian Fellowship, who's standing in for Linda Van Wert tonight. So thank you, Mike. Would everyone please rise and salute the flag?
Repeat after me. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor and City Council, and thank you for your service to our community. We appreciate all of your work. A portion of what I'm going to be reading to you tonight is going to be delivered at the over the city, which is going to be on December 31st at noon at the Tabernacle. So, the Interfaith Council is conducting that, and want to give you a special invitation to come to that. This is a prayer by the Ute John Yellow Lark, and it goes like this. Let us pray. Earth, teach me stillness as the grasses are stilled with light. Earth, teach me suffering as old stones suffer with memory. Earth, teach me humility as blossoms are humble with beginning. Earth, teach me caring as a mother who embraces her young. Earth, teach me courage as the tree which stands alone. Earth, teach me limitation as the ant which crawls on the ground. Earth, teach me resignation as the leaves which die in the fall. Earth, teach me regeneration as the seed which rises in the spring. Earth, teach me to forget myself as melted snow forgets its life. Earth, teach me to remember kindness as dry fields dance when it rains. Amen.
Thank you, sir. Okay, conflicts and disclosures, council. Is there anything on the agenda tonight that you have a conflict of interest in that you'd like to disclose? Okay, we'll go ahead and move into the working agenda. We have no public hearing scheduled tonight. On the consent agenda, you have approval of the claims and minutes from the November 9th regular city council meeting, the December 7th city council work meeting, and the claims through December 14th. On the calendar, we have a meeting that's on the calendar. They're going to talk about canceling in a few minutes. On the 28th, January 4th will be our work meeting, first work meeting next year. On January 11th, regular city council meeting, and January 25th, regular city council meeting. And the next item is canceling the December 28th regular city council meeting. So council, anything on there that you need to discuss? Any questions on anything? If there's not, then I would look for a motion to approve the consent agenda.
I'll move that we approve the consent agenda.
I'll second that.
Got a motion by Ben and a second by Krista to approve the consent agenda. The money item, all in favor, say aye. Ben?
Aye.
Lena?
Aye.
Krista?
Aye.
Danny?
Aye.
Jarrett?
Aye.
Passes unanimously. Thank you, council. Item C1, is it Dowdle? Dowdle. Okay, Dowdle presentation. This is presented by David Howling with Dowdle Puzzle. Several members of the city council have run into him at the league, and he is here to present on the puzzle. And I don't know if Krista or Lena, if there's a lead, or just going to turn it over.
I was not prepared to take a lead, but sure. So David's here from Daddle Puzzles. He was at the league meetings that we went to earlier this year. And they, as part of their, I don't know, business model, I guess you would say, contract with cities to create puzzles for them that kind of reflect their history and uniqueness. And we asked if they would be willing to come and share a presentation with us so that we could explore whether or not our city would want to do a puzzle as well.
Great. Thank you.
An awesome Santa Clara puzzle. Sorry.
David? We need to get a mic.
You can take You can take that with you.
And that one of those mics will move on it. There you go.
Hi, my name is Eric Dow. So yeah, so just start with this video. This is Eric, and so you can kind of meet him. He's the artist. He's the creative force behind it. And so this gives you a little idea of the feel for him and the kind of what we do. So I'd like to start off with this.
I'm an artist, but let me tell you a little bit about myself. I'm from a large family. Grew up on a farm in Wyoming. We told stories. That's what we do. And somehow in all that chaos, and it was chaotic, I became an artist. I like to tell people stories, and folk art is the best way to tell people stories. Here's what I do. I go into the town, I meet the people, I eat the food, I learn a little history, I find out what the tourists like to do, I find out what the locals like to do. And then I put all of that story into one painting. And you're going, well, I know you as puzzles, not as a painting. Painting is where it begins. Career and Ives put art on the wall for the average person to enjoy. But there was no television and radio back then. So a piece of art would get a half hour of your time. You'd actually gather around and talk about it and celebrate whatever story is going on in the painting. Well, we barely glance at art on the wall nowadays. So how do we get people as artists to engage in our paintings? That's when I realized that a puzzle gets hours of your time and attention. So if you want to tell a story, that's the way to do it. The average puzzle takes 2 to 3 people about 3 to 4 hours to put together. Well, that's 10 hours of time with every painting and every story. If I come into your city and tell your story in a painting and cut it up into 1,000 pieces, if you do 10,000 puzzles, that's over 100,000 hours of people talking about their memories, their favorite places, their businesses, the people, the history, all of that comes out in the puzzle. We want to help you celebrate your town. How do that? By doing a painting and turning it into a puzzle and throwing a party that you'll never forget. It's not just an unveiling, it's a party. It's a big time celebration with dance, music, food, people putting their pieces of the puzzle together. It just brings everybody together, depending on how big you want to go with this. This is something that we're going to do with every city. It's not one size fits all. Your town is unique. It's just like a puzzle. So the celebration we're putting together, we will work with you to make sure it's how you want it to be. We have some ideas. We've been doing this for 10 years to prepare for America's 250th. So we will share with you what has worked, but there's going to be some things that you want to highlight for your town, and we're going to have to do that. You have a story to tell. Let me help you tell that story.
A little idea of who Eric is. And so now I'd like to flip to the PowerPoint if we could. Oh, well, we can start here. This is fun. So first of all, Eric he's world known. He's the official puzzle of Costco. He has We started off with a radio program at BYU Sirius XM 143. That went really well. It was one of their top rated shows. And then they said, well, let's try turning this into a TV program. So they took it, they did 3 seasons of a show called Painting the Town, which is where a lot of those clips you saw in the video were from. And that did really well. And it sparked the interest of some other media people. So this puzzle is the first of paintings that he's done for a new TV series that's coming out in the end of this month, December 30th, on Magnolia Network. The new TV series was named by Joanna Gaines, and she named it The Peacemaker, not PEA, but PIECE, because of the puzzle connection. So that'll be coming out, and they're going to be putting millions of dollars of investment into Eric and into his artwork. And so that's going to add even more ability for us to promote and everything of what we're doing for these cities. So what he wants to do is, like he said in his video, folk art is the way to tell a story, and every city has its own story. And we've found that, and going through that, most of the cities that get excited about these projects are the towns about 5 to 15,000. They're the ones that have a lot more pride in their city. They want to tell their story. So our goal is to come in and work with the city to showcase the city's unique history. And doing some research on Santa Clara, you guys have a lot of history, the floods, the Jacob Hamblin and his wife. And I was looking at your statues out here. So there's a lot of history that can be put into a folk art piece. And the way, because folk art is so unique, we can tell your story from the founding. We've, in some cities, we've even gone back to, pre-white people arriving, but we can do it all the way through to the most modern building in the city and make it look like a cohesive piece that's all telling the story of the city. Our goal is to come in, get your story, and then create a legacy piece of art that the city can be proud of going forward, that tells the story. And then, and then once we've done that, we'll also create a large puzzle for the city to display, where the different elements of the city will come put their piece in at the unveiling. And then the puzzles are the fundraising part of it, where the city makes back what they invest in the project. So again, this list of things, Eric will come and visit the city, but he's not going to tell you what you want in there. That would be whatever committee you guys establish, and you tell us what people, what famous places, what things you want in that painting. And that's what we put together. He talks about Currier and Ives. Eric was called the puzzle guy. And when people used to come up to him and say, hey, you're the puzzle guy, he would cringe. I would just watch him. And he'd be like, nobody goes to art school and says, puzzles, that's where it's at. And he's like, and it just made him crazy. And then about maybe 8 years ago, he had to do a presentation on Currier and Ives for a Christmas party. And when he put this presentation together, he learned that before that, people didn't put art on their walls. Before Currier and Ives, they didn't do it. And when Currier and Ives came out, they made art affordable to the general public. And people would go out and they'd buy a Currier and Ives piece and they'd put it on their wall, and they'd invite friends and people over to come in. They'd literally stand around it and discuss it for a half hour, and just say, wow, look at all these things, and talk about all the parts of it. The white picket fence, that comes from Currier and Ives. That didn't really exist before them. So then he started realizing that he had been ungrateful, because now, like he said in his thing, people don't, you can go to museums of art, you can go to the Met in New York, and you go in the Fine Arts Gallery, and people will walk by and they'll look at a Monet or they'll look at a Renoir and they'll be like, yeah, that's pretty nice. And they move on. And these are amazing pieces of art, but people don't do that anymore. And so it's hard to get people to focus on anything anymore. And that's where puzzles come in. We can go to the next one. So what we want to do is, this is the figures that he kind of went through, but we want to create a puzzle that gets people putting their city together. And one of the fun things we've seen is we've done this for several cities, and I'll cover some of those here in just a minute. But when these cities put their puzzles together, people come and they'll buy Eric's art because they love his art. They may not even know the city, but then in every puzzle we put together, there is a sheet that we call the story insert. And that story insert tells the story of that place and has different bullet points and things that we call out of that city. So as people are spending this 3 to 4 hours each, so about 10 hours per puzzle, they're learning about your city. They're learning about the people. They're learning about the historic places. They're learning about the events that have gone through that have made that community what it is. And so it creates a tourism thing that that we've seen people actually go and build the puzzles. There's some couple puzzles, Facebook pages where people will go and they'll build this puzzle. Then they'll go to that site and have their picture taken in part of that. So it drives that. And then we've got a couple other ideas that we're working on to drive even more tourism with it. So the thing is that you utilize the revenue generating opportunities on this is that you'd have the puzzle, you have art that you can generate from the puzzle, you have the puzzle. So our minimum order is 6,000 puzzles, and I'll go in why that is in a minute. But you sell those puzzles, you make $12.50 a puzzle. So basically you sell 6,000 puzzles that you've paid yourself back. And if you've looked at like Google or things like that, if your city has a tourism budget and they've gone out, what's a half page or a full page magazine ad run in a large publication? You're probably talking about 40 to 60 grand. If you're talking about Google ads, you're probably talking a monthly outlay of $20,000-$30,000 to maybe somebody will see that. A magazine, maybe somebody will see that within 30 days. And I don't even think they do newspaper advertising anymore. So, but those budgets are something that you spend, that money's gone for arts or different things, and it's gone. But this is a project that you can spend that money and the project will pay you back. So these are 3 examples I wanted to go over real quick. We did Pleasant Grove, Strawberry. They wanted to celebrate Strawberry Day, so we did that. That was one that the city commissioned as a fundraiser for their arts. The second one is Morro Bay. That was a 501c3 out of California that wanted to commission it to celebrate their city. And then Costco, of course, that was a commercial one. But if you want to go to so this is what the insert will look in and doing. So this is one that the city commissioned. They wanted to capture the story of their city. It was the 100th anniversary of Strawberry Days. So we went through, we worked with them and found out what their stories are from the founding, from Battle Creek all the way through and how the city developed. They wanted leaders, previous mayors and current mayors and everybody involved in it. They used it as a fundraiser for their arts council. And it was commissioned by the city itself. So if you want to go to the next one, this was their piece. So if you go, let's go to the next one. So, and the fire truck, that's the mayor and the city council, because they could put it together. So they were featured in here. And then you can see other people in the background. Those were prominent people in the community. They weren't all called out, but they were people that they wanted in the art. If you want to go to the next one. They also wanted to celebrate the businesses that made their community unique. And so we put those in there. And I don't know if you saw in the video where people were coming up to a puzzle and they were putting pieces in. So that would be like Smith Rexall Drugs. They came up, the owner of that came up and put their piece in. A Taco Amigos owner came up and put their piece in. The city officials came up and put their piece in. So it becomes a big city event. This was one of my favorite. When we did American Forks, it was actually a nonprofit that did it, but one of the city councilmen had lost a son in Afghanistan. And they wanted that in there. The people that were working on this wanted it in here. So he's painted in right here. And when we did the unveiling, his parents and his siblings came up and put his piece in. And it was very touching because, he was part of the community story and they wanted to celebrate that. And so that was something that we did. If you'd like to go to the next one. Morro Bay, we were contacted by a company, organization called Morro Bay Beautiful. It's a 501c3 and they go around and they put cans of sand around the beaches. The people were putting cigarette butts down on the beach and they paint the garbage cans and they were looking for a fundraiser. And Anne, who put this together, came up and she goes, I think this would be a great one because she has neighbors that were just huge fans of the puzzle. So they commissioned it. Then she went around as a 501c3 and went to the businesses and said, hey, we're going to create this legacy piece of art. It's going to be around for years. We're still selling as many Nabu puzzles now as we did in 96. And those puzzles that are out there still keep circulating. It's not like a magazine where people look at it and throw it away. They build the puzzle, they share the puzzle, they pass it on, and that it's on and it keeps growing and building that. So she said, this is going to be a legacy piece of art and your business can be part of this if you want to. And so she took donations from the businesses to be a part of the artwork. We found out that it was the town's 150th anniversary. So we put that on the box. And it was kind of fun. The Gavin Newsom of California. Gavin Newsom, California, when they found out, they notified the governor's office that it was the 150th anniversary. They weren't even aware. And they actually sent a special emissary down to the unveiling with a special certificate from the governor commemorating their city event, which was kind of fun. We'd like to go to the next one. So this is their piece. They're known for this lava dome. It's huge lobby dome and the three stacks. And turned out to be a great piece, and the community just really came around it. The mayor at first, when Ann came to him, he told Eric this at the dedication or at the unveiling. He said, when she came to me, I thought, what a stupid idea. Why are we going to spend that much money on a piece of art? People come here and paint our city all the time. There's galleries all along the Embarcadero with artwork of the city. He goes, why would she pay that for a piece of art when we can just go down there and grab one? After we did the unveiling and after he saw the excitement in the community and everything, he came up to Eric and he goes, I thought she was crazy, but I see it now. I get it. And what she did was genius. So you only go to the next one. So these were some of the businesses, Dutchman's, the Shell Shop. We couldn't fit everything in there. So there was a restaurant called the Hungry Fisherman on the upper right here. So we couldn't fit them in, but we got them in so we could tell their story too. They're actually a neat story there, an immigrant family that started working for this restaurant that's been there for years and years and years. And then they eventually bought it. And so now it's their family legacy, but it's still community legacy. So these are great buildings in there that tell the story of the people in that community. It's a small community, about a little less than 10,000 people. And if you'd like to go to the next one. And then they wanted the rock, and then some of the cars that are in there on the breezeway that were people that we asked them, what were your favorite cars? And then we put those in to make sure that some of the people that were committed to it were involved that way too. Costco, pretty much goes out saying, Costco, we are the exclusive puzzle of Costco. And so they came to us and we were putting our puzzle run together a couple years ago. And they said, we just want to commission a piece for us. And we don't want to mix. We just want our puzzle in the stores. And we were like, you sure you want to do that? And they're like, yeah. So they did it. And we commissioned this piece of art. We're in Costco's normally from about, late October through the end of January, first part of February. In that period of time, they sold 600,000 of a puzzle that was just Costco. You want to go to the next one? And this is it. If you've been to Costco on a Saturday, that probably feels right at home.
It's so fun.
And they wanted to call it the Costco treasure. So this one, he actually hid Easter eggs. There's Easter eggs hidden in there as you're going through and you're finding them. There's different things all over in it. You want to go to the next one. If you look over on the left-hand side, probably about 2/3 of the way up, that's Eric standing there,
Oh,
painted in there. So we painted a bunch of people in there, and this was a great success for him. It was a lot of fun. So this is all part of it. And then once the art is commissioned and completed, after we've worked with you to get the things that are in there, then we have an unveiling ceremony. And all we really ask of the city is to provide a venue and a PA system, and we'll come in with entertainment. We'll come in with the art. We'll come in with a celebration that brings the city out, and we can schedule this for whenever you want it, tying in with a city event or an event that's a standalone. And we usually ask a couple of the city officials, the mayor or whoever, to come out and make some comments at the beginning. Then Eric will stand up and Eric will tell the story about his feelings towards the city, what he put in there, why he put in there, what he did, go over that. And then we do the unveiling with confetti popping and everything. And then we have the large wooden puzzle that people come up and they can put their pieces in. We also have an option where if the city wanted to commission a wall mural of their puzzle, we can do that. And so for the event, it's not just putting it in this frame puzzle, they're putting their pieces in a large wall puzzle. That's can be 8 by 10, it could be 10 by 15, it could be, we have one in our studio that's 18 by 60. So whatever you wanted to go that way. Next one. So this is the wall puzzle that I was talking about. That's an option. It's not normally part of it, but if you want to include it, it becomes an Instagrammable spot, and it will be part of what we're going to be doing. When Eric mentioned the America's 250, we're trying to collect about 5 cities in each state. And going into 2026, which was our nation's 250th birthday, we're going to do an American tour. We're going to go to these cities, and the cities that are signed up for this will be ones that we go to. And we'll celebrate the story of that city. And the wall will become an Instagrammable spot where people, when they visit the city, we even have a treasure hunt that we're putting together. So people will have to go to that Instagrammable spot and have a picture taken and send it into us to get the next clue. So it's going to be a lot of fun associated with the wall puzzle. So how basically the program works is this: if the city decides it's something they want to move ahead with, You decide your budget and level of participation. And then next one. You prepare your list of landmarks, of the stories, of the buildings, of the people that you want to have included in the art. We have it broken down in must have, be nice to have, and then a wish list. And we can normally get most of them in there. They may not be called out in the story, but they'll be in there and you'll know that they're there. Then you watch your ideas come to life. And what that means is Eric comes to the city, he tours it, he will do sketches. We'll bring that sketch back to the committee, whoever's in charge of the artwork, and we'll go over it with you. We'll say, this is what we have so far. And I'm doing this right now with Tooele. They've commissioned one, and we're going through and organizing their things, and it's getting pretty close to being completed, and it's pretty exciting. But we go through several sketch versions, so it is what you want. It tells the story of Santa Clara the way you want it told. And then we paint it, and it comes to life. Then you organize and promote your event. And we come out and we do the unveiling, we bring entertainment, we bring the artwork, and we bring the puzzles. Now, with these ones that I've shown you, Pleasant Grove, when we sold them, we only had a 3,000 puzzle minimum. And Pleasant Grove only sold them through their city hall. They bought the 3,000 puzzles thinking that we're a small city, 3,000 puzzles, that's a lot of puzzles. And within, I think it was 6 weeks, they'd blown through their 3,000. And then because of COVID, we had to wait 5 months to get them their next batch of puzzles with supply shortages and everything. Morro Bay, the same thing happened. They bought 3,000 puzzles. And then within 2 months, they'd gone through the entire group of the 3,000 puzzles. And they kind of missed that little wave of, the excitement when it first gets released. I've never been to an event where people buy a puzzle. I've never seen at any event somebody come up and say, hey, I'm going to buy this puzzle. They come up with a stack of 3 to 5 to 10. I'm sending this to my kids that don't live here anymore. I have a friend that used to live here. I'm sending it to them. I'm sending it to these people. So we want to get the city the most they can get out of that event. And so that's why we raised it to 6,000 for 2 reasons. One, it covers the cost of everything. And 2, they go through them. We did the last one we did in Spanish Fork. They bought 6,000 and we talked to him. I was getting some numbers for some presentations and I talked to Nick Porter there the other day. And he said, well, we haven't sold them all. Now we did their event in September. And I said, well, where are you at? And he said, we've only sold through 4,500. I'm like, oh, you're doing pretty good, Nick. So, but it is an exciting thing, and the cities do come around. When we were at that event, when Krista was there for the League of Cities and Towns, we took the big puzzle of Pleasant Grove and had that in the background. When we went in to remove that piece from their community center, you would have think we were robbing the Louvre. People were coming up, why are you doing? Why are you taking our piece? Why are you taking our artwork? Why are you stealing this from the city? Where's it going? We're like, we're just borrowing it. It's gone for a couple of days, then we'll bring it back and hang it up. But it was amazing to see how much the community drew identity from that piece because it tells their story. And they could go in there and they say, oh yeah, I went to school here, or I used to go to a restaurant here, and I used to do these things. And so it's fun and it brings the community together. And at the end of it, you have a legacy piece of art that's telling the city's story, and you have puzzles that are going to be circulating for years and years and years. So with this, we have, if the city decides to do it, the installments are broke down 50% up front, 50% at completion. You receive at minimum a 12-month exclusive licensing agreement, which means that the only place that these puzzles can be sold will be through the city. That's how we make sure the city recoups their funds. You buy the puzzles for $12.50. We sell them in our gallery, and we sell, and the cities that are selling them for $24.99. And that's what they're going for. But you have the exclusivity, so you can determine where you want them sold for that period of time, be that 12 months or 2 years or 18 months, whatever you feel. After that, then we would take the puzzle and we're going to put it in our Costco runs. So Santa Clara then goes into Costco's across the country, and people go through and they're looking at puzzles they don't have of Eric's. And they're thinking, oh, I've never seen this one. They take that puzzle home, they build it, they learn about your city. They learn about, oh, I want to go here. I want to see this because of the story that's inside of it. Now, this is one that I want to make sure that it's clear. Artists don't sell their copyrights. So Eric retains the copyrights in perpetuity on the artwork. However, because the city is the commissioning agent, they retain all licensing. So you have in perpetuity licensing to use that image. You can use it for billboards, you can use it for shirts, you can use it for prints, you can use it for whatever you want to use it for going forward without having to pay anything for it. The only thing we ask is that if you're doing a print of it, that you allow us the ability to do a press check, because Eric's very particular about his colors and the images of his art. So if you hire a local printer to print some posters or something of it, we would ask that one of our artists or Eric is able to proof their printing to make sure that the colors are right. Then in the future, if there were additional signings, if there was a city event or something that you wanted to have done, let's say there was an anniversary of the city, we would take that image and we can digitally alter it. We can put a new building in if there's a new building you wanted to celebrate. We can put, if there's a 200th anniversary or something like that, we can come in and redo a version of the puzzle for that event. You don't pay for the art, you don't pay for the digital correction, all you would pay for is the puzzles. And we would do another signing and an unveiling of that commemorative event as well. So this is messed up and I haven't got it corrected yet. So Eric, when we did the other ones, he did those they were 22 by 28s and he was disappointed when he saw them because they were too small. So he said, we're not doing that. If we're doing it for these cities, we're going to make the big ones. They're going to be 32 by 40s, but we'll do that for the same price as the 22 by 28s. So the 32 by 40 is the 75,000. The puzzles with the 6,000 minimum are $1,250 a piece. These are different types of framed artwork that the city buys. This is your price and you sell it for double that. So for example, if you bought an 18 by 24 frame G clay for $225, the city would sell that for $550. We would bring those to the event. We would produce those and bring those to the event. And then you would just sell them with the puzzles. And with these events, we normally do net 30. So most of the cities, pretty much all the cities, have paid the price for the puzzles out of the proceeds from the sale of the puzzles because they've sold through enough of them in 30 days to make the payment. So the two parts of it are the painting is a $75,000 commitment. Half of that would be due up front, half would be due at completion. The puzzles then are a $75,000 commitment. So the whole commitment is $150,000. And you sell through the 6,000 puzzles, it pays back the entire investment. Morro Bay, they did some interesting things. After the event and the unveiling, they auctioned their piece off, and they doubled the amount that they paid for the piece in the auction. They've done that, and I know that some cities have talked about auctioning it off, but having the person that purchases it donate it to the city so they can hang it. And so a lot of different ways you can use that. But even if you did nothing of that, if the city wanted to keep the piece and put it there and have that framed piece for another community event center somewhere, you go through this and it's paid back itself completely. And again, this is all part of our America 250 program. We've got right now the ones we're working on that are part of the America 250 are Tooele, South Jordan, Harriman. There's one I'm forgetting, Payson. So those are the ones we're working on for the America 250 event right now. Eric, because Utah is his home, wants to do about 6 cities in Utah. We've got some in Oregon, Washington, Idaho, Montana, Colorado that we want to do some in every state. But Utah is getting filled. And so we realize this is something that has to be gone through the process. It's not something that is made an instant decision. And we realize that. But we just want to make sure you're aware that there's no time frame, but there's a slot frame. And so if the city decided to do it, we can, and they wanted to put it down, we could schedule it. Right now, it'd probably be 2023, late 2023 for the event, or you could put it in 2024. But after this window closes for the Utah cities, then we probably wouldn't be able to revisit a Utah city until probably after the 250th anniversary. So it'd probably be 2027 before we'd be able to come back and revisit it. But they would be part of that tour and it would be very exciting. So that's our presentation. And I brought these puzzles here. So I would encourage you to, take a puzzle on your way out if you would like one, so you can kind of get a feel of what they are. We are known for as the highest quality puzzles in the industry. We use the best chipboard, the best acid-free paper and everything. And the thing about our puzzles that makes them different is they're a story. They're telling a story of a city, of a place, of an event. And that's what makes them different, and people love them. And we have a very, very loyal following. So are there any questions for me?
Council, questions?
I have one. How do you determine the size of the puzzle, number of pieces?
The city can determine that. We found the most successful is the 500 piece, which is a 16 by 20 puzzle. Builds out to 16 by 20. The 500 piece is kind of that meaty part of the arc, you know, where most people will do it. Some people only want to do thousands. Some people want the smaller ones, but most people want around the 500 piece puzzle. So 500 piece or 16 by 20.
Those are thumbs up I'm seeing back there.
You want
What the little ones? Gotcha.
well, the speech sermons, they want the 1,000 creative themselves.
I'll take a 25. You do them in 25. I'm really good at those, Mayor. I will say, I watched Mrs. Shakespeare do like 4 of these over the last 2 weeks. And they sit at the table for 4 to 5 hours and and they don't leave until it's,
And they discuss all the details.
I know,
Right?
no, that's cool. I watch football. Perfect.
So,
I do help. I come in and put the last piece in.
or you're one of those people, some people will go and they'll steal a piece when the
Yeah.
president wants, and they'll hide it so they can come in and be the hero and put, oh, I got the last piece right here.
Lena, did you have some?
No. I had a question. So after the exclusivity is over and Eric would be able to put these in Costco, would the city still be able to sell puzzles as well, or were we done at that point?
Absolutely. No, you're not done. Your contract will lock in those prices for the puzzles going forward. So if in the future you wanted to still sell them, again, Costco's a limited run. It's only a part of the year. So Costco uses our products as a loss leader.
Okay.
So that when you go and look at the Dowdle puzzles in Costco, they're selling them for about half of what we sell them for.
Mhm.
Because they just buy them and they put them out there, and that's what they do to get people in the store because they're so popular. We've even outsold milk and eggs before. So that's how big our puzzles are. But after that exclusivity period, the city can still buy them and you're locked in at the same prices. So it's not going to go up on you. It would be the same price, so you can still acquire the puzzles at that and still continue to sell them through the venues that you wish to sell them at.
Okay. I am a big fan. I do think these are the best, and I'm a 1,000-piece puzzle person as well.
Me too.
Well, and I'll throw this out there too. Depending on, I mean, we could probably on something like this, if there was a big division in it where they wanted some thousand, we can do 3,500 and 3,000.
Okay, you could do different
We
sizes.
could do a mix.
We'll do the 125.
For the others.
I feel like I had another question.
Mayor, I will say,
over there, that's the.
He's smiling. We're good.
I will say, just running the numbers, looking at I don't think it's gonna be hard to recoup the cost. I just, you look through there. You look at the big art. I mean, that's the first thing I thought is I'm looking for the certain piece in my office to go, I'm looking at that larger canvas there, that last one, just going, that'd be perfect for that. So I don't believe it'd be hard to recoup this.
And just when I was doing my research, Santa Clara, the story about Jacob Hamlin and his family and losing the baby, and that could be included in the story. The flood of, what was it, 1862, as they call it, and then the flood that happened.
2005 was.
And then there was family in there that's, the statues out here. So not only the statues, but you could actually put them in there with their homes and their stories and capture that. And so that's the neat thing about this, is not just a piece of art. It's the story of Santa Clara, and you guys have an amazing story to tell.
How did they commit, for example, a small town like Pine Valley has a puzzle. Was that commissioned by an individual or was that commissioned by a group of people?
We've seen businesses, individuals and do it. So that one, I think the Pine Valley one was an individual that asked Eric that he wanted the painting. So Eric worked that out with them. We did the artwork. They didn't get any of the royalties off of it or any licensing. They just bought that piece.
Right.
Very cool.
So realistically, if we wanted to have one completed, say in September, how quickly would we need to move?
I'd need to look at my thing, but probably you'd want to let us know. We could send the contract to the city attorney, so he can review that, make sure everything looks good on it. And then the 37,500 would be due. The sooner the better. We can lock it in because we've got several that are pending right now. But I would say if we got it done probably by mid part of January, or end of January even, we can lock you guys in for that date. And then schedule it. And then your sketch would probably start in April, May, when we'd come down. Eric would come down and visit and start doing the sketching and working with whoever. I mean, cities have done it different ways, but usually they set up a committee of different people that review that. And
Awesome. Thank you.
Cool. Any other questions, council? Brock?
Oh, he answered my one question.
Okay, awesome. Well, thank you, sir.
thank you so much for your indulgence and letting me come here. I appreciate it.
Well, we appreciate the presentation and the puzzles, so thanks. Okay, number C2, this is discussion and action to approve the 2023 Santa Clara City meeting schedule. Jill?
Good afternoon or evening, council, mayor and council. I have before you I'm bringing before you the notice for the public meetings, our yearly public meetings. We bring these to you every year. The code requires us to bring these to council, get approved, and then post them with the newspaper. And then we also, in addition, post it on our city website, our on the public notice website and the post office and here at the city office. And they're done and normally the first of the year. So I'm just trying to get it done, and staff is just recommending to get this approval. No changes have been made since last year on the times or days. I've ran it by all the commission people and they were all said they were the same. Nothing's changed. So we're just bringing it before you to get approval tonight.
Okay. Thank you, Chris. Any questions, council? Everybody's okay with it? I'd look for a motion.
I move that we approve the 2023 yearly meeting schedule.
I'll second.
Got a motion by Denny and a second by Jarrett to approve the 2023 Santa Clara City meeting schedule. Any question on the motion? Let's see, not a money item. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it. Thank you, council. Item C3, discussion and action regarding an update on the Santa Clara City Personnel Policy Manual. Brock?
Yeah, so we discussed this last week, and so quickly go over the highlights what changes that we made there. As we talked about, we updated the holidays in there. We added in Juneteenth in there as a holiday listed. We also put Columbus Day back in, keeping the holiday of this day after Thanksgiving, as well as the day after Christmas. We also included in there as part of our wellness program that there's another level of sick leave that could be purchased by an employee based on their wellness, and that's a tier once they reach the cap that is accruable, that they could buy some of that sick leave out. Also, we updated the education reimbursement. We added that into how much the cap each year to how much somebody could get, and then they are asked to work. They left within the year that they were paid, they would have to reimburse the city for what education payment they received. Those are kind of the big items that were in the update. So.
Okay, thank you, Brock. Any questions for Brock, council? I know we spent quite a bit of time on this at the work meeting. There's no questions, and I would look for a motion.
So I'll make the motion that we approve the update to the Santa Clara City Personnel Policy Manual as presented.
I'll second that.
Excuse me, a motion by Lena and a second by Krista to approve the update to the Santa Clara City Personnel Policy. Any question on that motion, council? Let's see, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it. Thank you, council. Item C4, discussion and action regarding approval for water line replacement for Vineyard Drive Phase 1. We talked about this a little bit at the work meeting too, council.
Yes, good evening, Mayor and Council. I've come back with estimates to complete that portion of water line, which would be from Black Rock Road down past the 90-degree bend out of the new intersection. Will be constructed with the Vineyards 11 subdivision. Whitaker Construction, who's in town right now doing our other two jobs, is the low price on that, and Mountain Land Supply on the pipe material. Then I'm putting in there about an extra 15,000 for miscellaneous, being I'm probably going to need to patch the road depending on when the asphalt demolition and replacement is done. For a total cost of $141,280. They can move right down there first week of January.
They're just finishing up there.
They started on Truman on Monday, and they'll probably be wrapped up there next week and then off for the holiday and start down there the first week of January. I think it's crucial that we get this section done because of the elevation change at the 90-degree bend. When Vineyard 11 ties in, our water line needs to be at that elevation by the time they get there.
It definitely needs to happen quickly.
And just so you know, this is the city helping out again with the services. The water department will come in after Whitaker lays the main line, and we'll install those services for a savings of about $20,000. The material's in here, but the labor's not for the services. So the city will do the services just like we did on these other two jobs. It seemed to work really well.
Excellent.
Dustin, is there going to be any traffic control issues with the subdivision under construction and the truck traffic and stuff? Been doing this.
They're supposed to be done hauling the second week of January. I talked to Heber the other day.
They finish the earthwork and then do the water line, so they didn't have a conflict. Okay, good deal. Questions, council?
Just
Something
the
needs to be
time of
done.
construction. What do you think it's gonna take them, Dustin, from start to finish?
I would not guess more than 3 weeks. Right, there's a lot of utilities down there. It's going to be a jigsaw puzzle, and we're going to encounter things we didn't know about. So there might be some additional bends and 45s you have to make to get around those existing utilities.
There's no other work other than just, you're just doing the water line and service at this point.
Yeah, and then maybe asphalt patch it if the road doesn't go through.
It'll look great.
Okay,
Is the conduit for the fiber already in that part of the road? Or would we want?
No, it's not. We would have what's called the joint utility trench. Gary wants to put his power in it. So we'd get it in there at the same time.
Okay.
is Kent running joint utility trench on Vineyard in the subdivision? I can't remember,
He is in the subdivision,
but not on
Vineyard.
Vineyard. Okay, all right.
So you'd end up doing conduit and fiber now, or at least the conduits for it?
When we do the full road reconstruction, at that time we would.
This is just water.
Not for the
Just water, yeah.
Okay.
Now I've got a bid from them if you want to have the whole thing done.
We'll bring that back. Let's get the water done.
Okay,
Do we have this we decided?
Yes,
this
it's
in the budget,
budgeted.
right?
yes, and it's impact fee eligible because it's an upsize.
Any other questions, council? It's a good project and it's needed, so I'd look for a motion.
I'd move to approve the reconstruction of the water line on Vineyard Drive. Is it got a number here?
There's phase one.
Phase 1,
66,280
141, 280.
141,
for the total.
200. 141, 280.
Perfect.
Second.
Got a motion by Denny and a second by Ben to approve the water line replacement for phase one to Whitaker Construction for a total cost of $141,280. Any question on the motion?
I have one. I just, in it is, we are awarding the bid to Whitaker Construction. So maybe we need to add that then on the labor and installation, and then to
Mountain Land.
Mountain Land on the material. We just add that.
I would include that in the motion.
And then the second too. Okay, any other questions? All right, money item, all in favor? Janet?
Aye.
Denny?
Aye.
Krista?
Aye.
Lena?
Aye.
Ben?
Aye.
Ayes have it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Get her done, Dustin. And come back safe. Don't get hung up again down there this year. He's on his way to Mexico for a holiday. Okay, reports, mayor and council reports. Ben?
Mayor, just to, we had flood control authority, we had the meeting, approved the budget for next year. All that went well. I do, if I can get a commitment as we move down for Vineyard to go through the, was it SAA, SSA? I will volunteer if I can get a 1-page, very good explanation document. I will be the door-to-door guy that will go handle that. But I'm just going on record. I will do that. It has to be explained and 1 page, but I will take care of that. I do believe. You got it on the minutes. So I think it's important and we need to get out in front of that. So I've already started, but I'd like to have the same document that I can share with everybody. So as they share it with their neighbors, the information's correct. So that's all I have, Mayor.
Good deal. Thanks, Ben. Lena?
I have had no committee meetings this month.
Great work on Santa Claus.
Thank you.
That was a fun party and gonna get a little bigger every year, and it was fun. So thank you.
Thanks to all your help, everybody.
Krista?
I don't have anything to report, but I would also say thanks for all your work on the Advent Fenster. That's been a lot of fun, and I think a lot of people are excited about it. So great work.
Cool. Denny?
The solid waste district approved a modification at the waste facility with a new scale house and a new building. It will be built out of surplus rather than an increase in fees, but there will be, according to contract with WMA, there will be an increase in fees coming up, I believe in May, and I'll get the details on that. But there will be construction starting out there. It shouldn't interrupt any of the waste management, dumping and stuff. We also approved a contract for the company who is going to manage the new cell as far as the dumping and so forth for that. And so they're moving forward, and hopefully it'll make it better and much more efficient. And we'll see some changes out there. That's all I have.
Thank you.
I attended a mosquito abatement meeting and we just approved our budget, and staff is doing a good job there to always stand our budget actually. So money is getting moved into their capital facilities fund. So things are going well at the district. And then just the update on the Glockenspiel is parts came in and it's still not fixed. It's going to take an electrician, it looks like. So we're still waiting for that. That's all I have.
Okay, thank you, sir. The water meetings are continuing. We are in the middle of reviewing the amendment to the rural water supply agreement with the other 6 cities and the water district. We got through the definitions and the recitals in 4 hours the other day. So it's a slow, tedious process, but we're getting a lot of feelings out on the table, and I'll forward Matt the revisions to the definitions and the recitals, so you can kind of keep up on that. We're meeting again on Monday. And so we are making a little bit of progress that way. They've also gone through the will serve letters, trying to get that format for so that we can get that to the cities as far as new development goes. I do have some questions on the will serve letters and how they impact projects that are in the pipeline right now. Project like Jason Lindsay's project. How does that fall on? Does he need a will serve letter? Is he past the will serve letter need? So we'll get some clarification on that for Jim so that he would know as these new projects come in, but they are looking to try and have that will serve letter form in very early January. Does that need to go back to council for approval, Matt?
Yeah, it will.
All right, so we'll try and get it as quick as we can so that we can get it on an early January agenda to get that approved. I was looking for an email. I was contacted regarding the state of the city address. And I think it's on the 16th of February. You want to put it on your calendar? It'll be here, a luncheon here at Town Hall on the 16th of February.
On the 16th?
No, Tuesday, the 14th.
Oh, I was like, I think I have our budget retreat.
Yeah, because that's what I'm thinking. The budget retreat is on the 16th. The state of the city is on Tuesday, the 14th. Here at Town
Valentine's
Hall.
Day.
Happy Valentine's Day to
Take
you.
her to lunch, baby. I'll wear a pink tie.
Okay.
But the retreat's on the 16th, right?
That was their dates. I asked for like February 8th, but they've already got a luncheon scheduled for that or
Are
something.
you sure it's not the 15th? Chamber lunches are always on Wednesday.
I'm just telling you what Ditzy told me. She said Tuesday, February 14th.
Okay.
So we will, it's still got a little bit of time, just it'll probably be that week, so. You may still get to go somewhere, more private for your Valentine's lunch. But there won't be anything more romantic than State of the City in Santa Clara on Valentine's
So
Day,
true.
especially with the Dowdle puzzle release. That's gonna happen now. Okay, the MPO met, we approved a project over to Washington City to get them some additional funding for one of their roadway jobs. But nothing really impacted Santa Clara. The mayors met with the hospital and got an update on some of the things that are going on at the hospital. Has any of you guys signed up for the, what's it called? The Heredogene program where you give them a blood sample and they put you in a pool. And if you start showing markers for certain types of cancer, they give you a call.
I've done it.
This is the genome one.
Genome Project.
My wife and I have done it.
And say, I would encourage everybody to do it. They had some of the success stories that have come out of it that they presented to the mayors at lunch that were really interesting. We're going to get the hospital come over and give a presentation to the city council, but it's starting to show some benefits. I remember when they talked about it a couple of years ago and it sounded really cool. Now you're starting to see some of the positive feedback as a result of doing it. So the bigger that gene pool is, the more accurate they can get in this with more potential diseases earlier. And so I'd encourage everybody to do it. And we'll bring the hospital over here sometime this winter and give them the annual update.
Is that Lincoln's project?
Lincoln Nadalt, Dr. Nadalt's project.
On
Yeah.
the hospital, I had a friend who mother-in-law slipped and broke her back, but there are no beds. And so they will not perform surgery until there's a bed available.
So the COVID RSV.
COVID and the RSV virus is occupying all of the beds.
Happy days. So I think that's all I had, council. Any questions?
I have one. The water moratorium map that we have in place, does that expire this month?
expires in January.
Okay.
And we're working on an ordinance to codify the drone model.
Yeah, Dustin and I have been looking at that, and we did do some, we did adopt an ordinance on that previously. So really what we need to decide is what else we want to add to that. It's still ongoing.
One of the things the water group is going to be talking about is dealing with the canal companies and the outstanding or the shares in the canal companies. We just haven't got there yet. And so.
Mayor, I just a quick comment on that. The water district invited all the city attorneys to a meeting a luncheon last Thursday, where we had a discussion about sort of the big picture points under the regional water supply agreement changes. And of all the issues, that was the one that was most concerning to a number of the cities there. A lot of comments, a lot of feelings. So I'm sure that'll be a fun one to work through.
Yeah, can't wait. That'll be a tough one. All right, any other questions? Staff, you guys got anything you need to report tonight? Oh, Jim does. I got a question for Chief. You can be able to burn the piles up by Washington Dam?
I don't think so. Is it? I think that's out in Washington, obviously, right? Washington City was the
Yeah, you
discussion
get
on
paid
that.
to do it though. It's a money making job.
Yeah. We can. We would just hire a crew or whatever, something short term, send them out there and do it. So.
But are you not interested in doing it? I don't sure of a program in Santa Clara Fire. I've done it in the past.
Yeah.
And I know Ty had it scheduled and then they postponed it. And now they're looking to wondering if we're going to reschedule it. Should I tell them no?
We can look back into it. So Adam Hyder, then I both looked at it, but just being out of the area was, we have to assemble
But if it's not feasible for us to do it, we just need to let them know. Because they just need to get them done.
Yeah.
While the window's open.
Yeah, I'll let you know by end of week. Does that work? And then let Brock know and
as soon as you can.
Yep.
Thank you.
We'll get on it. Yep.
I'll burn it for free.
Is that it?
Yeah. I don't further.
Cody, do you have any jokes for the council?
Just a little tutorial. We'll teach you how to spell bingo for the next year's Christmas party, Mr. Shakespeare.
Sheesh. Do I get a plaque or anything out there as the bingo champion? I mean, I should get something. Mayor, I did want to say, I'll burn those piles for free if you'll let me.
Well, Cody spells smart SMRT. All right. I just wanted to report to the council. We got some good news from the state yesterday from Alyssa Gamble. This is regarding the moderate income housing element of the general plan. I reformatted it. I attended the work meetings with the people from the state to see exactly what they wanted. I was able to resubmit to her on Monday, and I got an answer yesterday that it's been accepted. So ding, 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 we're good. Now, what I have to do is go through the process you went through in 2019. We have to adopt the updated moderate income housing element of the general plan by ordinance. That's what the state's asking for each community to do. So that will go to Planning Commission in January, and then we'll come to you by the end of January, probably the 25th, which puts us in conformance with meeting their deadline, which is the end of February. A lot of communities have commented, what are you going to do to us if we don't adopt by February? What if it's March or April? Because we're big and we have all this stuff. So I don't think that's going to be a problem. Well, it's definitely not for us, but other cities have asked that question. So good news. We got some good news yesterday. So we're good. Yeah. We're one of the 66 one of 66 that's going this direction. Now there's probably still 33 going that direction, but we'll see. When they first came up with that, they were threatening to leverage BNC road funds. Yes. Yes. And so really each of the strategies that we selected, and they've made changes to state code, they do that each year. We had to put the wording in verbatim as per state code. One word wrong and they make you redo it. So yeah, interesting. Yeah. Thank you, sir. Appreciate that, Jim. Rocky?
Yeah, just a couple of things. New website went live the other day, so it's there. There's still a lot of, we're still working through things and that, but it is up and running. The QR codes, if you've noticed for the public hearings, are up and it's been working, and so that's another good thing. Just a reminder of January 26th, the combined meeting with Ivan City. Just remember that on that Thursday. And
What time is the start for that?
5:30.
5:30?
Yeah. And then I just had a little handout there for you guys. You can have a little informational on SAAs. So.
Okay, Matt, did you have anything for council tonight? No executive session? All righty, anybody got anything else? Got people in the audience. Did you guys want to say anything or? Come up. I'm in a really good mood. The puzzle guys got me really happy. Don't usually do this. Need your name. Well, by this time of the meeting, yeah. I just need your name and address.
My name's Dolly Stoner, 1694 Rainbow Road. So I just, I saw that there was a sign for a public meeting on Pioneer Parkway, had the QR code. I know your meetings are Wednesday nights. I drive around town all the time. I saw it today. I don't always go on that back road. So I'd like to ask if you guys could maybe place it at a place that's safer to stop so that we can put I can't really just stop right there and scan it, especially I'm going somewhere. I have a place to be. And so, a great place would be like, in the Heights area in the neighborhood where we could pull over and walk and scan it. I don't know if you have more, but that's the only one I saw. And so, also I went on to the website tonight to look for a time, and I was using the phone app. I don't know if you guys realize that I couldn't find any schedule on the phone app very easily at all. I was looking, so I decided to just guess when it was going to be. I guessed for 5:30, and I was wrong. So if you guys could please consider those two comments.
Yeah, on the public notice, it has to be part of the public noticing requirements is on the property where the public hearing is about.
Mhm.
That's why it's placed there on that property. Is that's because
Okay.
that's what it's about, is that property that's right there on the bend.
Oh,
So
I
oh.
understand.
we can place them elsewhere, but that one is.
Was it out front too?
It was out in front of the building.
There was one out front. Was that a different?
That was for a previous public hearing.
Oh.
Here for Gary's item on power poles.
Gotcha.
Which was a citywide thing. This particular property, they're asking for a general plan amendment for that specific piece of
Okay.
property. So we had our guys go out and kind of put it on the flat high spot where it'd be visible. I actually went out last Thursday around 5 PM to put the QR code up because that links it to our packet of material for that meeting. And that
Okay.
meeting's actually tomorrow night. Yes, I had to pull over and get out of my truck and walk up. There is shoulder there, but that was the safest location we could find for that site.
Okay.
Most of the time, it's going to be in a much better location, like a park strip or an area behind a sidewalk, but there's no improvements there for that particular site.
Okay, thank you. I have a follow-up comment, if you guys don't mind.
No.
So I would like to just generally be more involved and know what's going on in the city. So I know that, so I'm not LDS, but I love something that the church members in my ward do is they post signs when there's going to be like a women's meeting or a other kind of event, and they just post them around. And I don't know if it's illegal for you guys to do that for regular meetings or if you have to pass something, but it would be great to see signs in the neighborhoods on Wednesdays as regular reminders that these things are happening. Cause I have, I came to a couple meetings recently because of the development that's going to be by Harmon's. And there was a lot of kind of frustration because people didn't feel like there was a strong effort to get community involvement. And so if you guys could put more signs, more places, more often, I think it's a simple thing to do. And that would help people to kind of get involved and to have a happier relationship with what's going on in the city.
Mayor, can I make a suggestion? So if you're not aware, the state of Utah actually maintains a website where the city is required to post all of our notices, all of our meeting notices. And you can get on that website. It's the Utah Public Notice website. In fact, if you just search Google for Utah Public Notice and get on that website, you can subscribe to notices for any local government, any body. So for example, you could subscribe specifically to notices for the Santa Clara City Council. You can subscribe to notices for the Santa Clara City Planning Commission. And they'll, as soon as they're posted on there by the city, they'll be automatically sent to your email inbox. And that's the absolute best way to, if you want to track what's going on with city meetings, that's the best way to do it. So.
Yeah, I guess I'm just asking for a variety of approaches, because I have subscribed to that. And so I actually haven't seen a lot of them in my inbox. I think I did for a while and then I stopped seeing them and I'm not sure what happened. And I don't expect you guys to understand or know why, but I think that also a low tech option would be great.
Yeah, they did just update that website, so it may have something to do with that. I don't know. Again, that's maintained through the state of Utah, but anyway, that really is the best option, but totally understand your
And that's
comments.
part of the reason we went to the QR codes and the bigger signs,
Yeah.
was to make them more evident to, the neighborhood.
Yeah.
This one that you struggle with is kind of a hard one because that site has very limited frontage on an fully not improved road. And so it's hard to pull over and look at it. Typically that same sign will be on a vacant lot or another commercial piece. So it's pretty easy to get a hold of.
And that's been our effort to be more transparent and more user friendly. Other cities around us, because I've gone and seen what they're doing.
Mhm.
They're just doing the small real estate signs like you would see on a house for sale, just in the dirt, a 2x2. That's why we went to the large banner with the QR code so people can see it. It's just next to a major road, but it's big. It's 4x8.
I did see how big the sign was. Like
Oh,
I
we want
said,
people to be able to see it and call us or go to the QR code. We've had good success. We've probably had 10 or 12 calls just in the last day or two about that item because people are saying we saw the banner and download the QR code. What more can you tell us? So people are calling since they've seen it.
awesome. Well, thank you for listening. And as I walk away, I just encourage you to just general signs in the neighborhoods would be awesome because we don't just a little reminder like this is happening because people have, kids and all kinds of stuff. So we want to be able to participate and those reminders would be great. So Thank you.
Thank you. Did you have anything? You're just here for a good time? That's good. Okay, well, if there's nothing else, council, I'd look for a motion to adjourn.
I move that we adjourn.
Second.
Got a motion by
Kristen.
Krista and a second by Lena to adjourn. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?